All right, so we left off with number 7 here. Step 1 is still to get absolute value by itself. Absolute value is not by itself right now. We've got this plus 10 that's in the way of the absolute value bars being by itself. And so if we go ahead and subtract 10 on both sides to get rid of this plus 10, that leaves us with the absolute value of x equals 4. So step 1 is complete. Absolute value bars are by itself. Step 2, is it possible? Well, yeah, we can take the absolute value and we can get a positive answer. So step 2, we're good there. Step 3 is to set up those two equations. So you have x equals 4 and x equals negative 4. Step 4 is to solve. They are already solved. We have x by itself on both sides there. So we are all set. X is 4 and x is negative 4. And so if we put those back in, we're going to get 14 both times. Next one here, you've got negative 5 times the absolute value of r. Step 1, absolute value by itself. Well, no, we've got that multiplication going on, so we need to divide by negative 5 on both sides. Absolute value of r equals 4. Step 1 complete. Step 2, we can get a positive answer when we take an absolute value, so this question is possible to solve. Step 3, set up two equations, r equals 4, and then the one where it's negative, so we have r equals negative 4. Okay, step 3, you're setting up two separate equations, one where it's just drop the absolute value bars, the other one is drop the absolute value bars and make it negative. Step 4 is to solve. They are already solved for the variable, so we are done there. R equals 4 and r equals negative 4. You can see that if we put both of those back into the original equation, absolute value of 4 is 4, absolute value of negative 4 is 4, and 4 times negative 4 times negative 5 is going to give us that negative 20 that we're looking for. All right, next one. Number 9. Absolute value by itself? Well, no, we got this minus 9 in the way, so I'm going to add 9 on both sides. Absolute value of x over 8 equals 1. And you might be thinking, well, it started out with a negative, so it's not positive. We can't make that decision until the absolute value is by itself. That is step 2. Step 2 is to decide whether or not it's possible. At this point in the equation, it is possible because we've got a positive number on the right side. So we can set up our two equations. You've got x over 8 equals 1. X over 8 equals negative 1. We're going to undo division with multiplication. This is x divided by 8. Show the multiplication on both sides. I see a lot of kids trying to just write it over here, and then they don't do anything over here. That's not going to end well for you. So we're multiplying by 8 on both sides. That's going to give us x equals 8. Multiply by 8 on both sides over here as well. 8 over 8 is 1, so we have x equals negative 8. Both of those are going to give us 1 once we take the absolute value, 8 over 8 or negative 8 over 8. Take the absolute value, you're going to get 1. 1 minus 9 is negative 8. Step 1, get absolute value by itself. We've got 3 times the absolute value, so we're going to divide by 3 on both sides. Step 1 is complete. We've got absolute value of m over 6 equals 1. Step 2, is it possible? Yes, we got a positive number on the right side. Step 3, two equations, m over 6 equals 1. M over 6 equals negative 1. We're going to undo the division by multiplying by 6 on both sides of the equation. M equals 6. I'm going to write the other one down here, running out of room up there. We're going to undo division with multiplication on both sides. Got to do it on both sides. Whatever you do on one side, got to do it to the other side in order to maintain equality. Do not do something on two sides or on the same side of the equation twice. That gives us m equals -6. So we got -6 and we've got 6. Steps. Oops. Here we are. Step 3 was to set up the two equations. Step 4, we solved both of those equations. Number 11 here, we get one more after this one, at least for this video. We got to undo that division. Okay, step 1 is to get the absolute value by itself. We want to get a minus 6 by itself because that's what's in absolute value. So we're going to multiply by 10 on both sides to do that. We're undoing division with multiplication. So you've got a minus 6 equals 10. Step 1 is complete. Step 2, is it possible? Yes, we've got a positive number on the right side. Step 3, two equations. Cannot set up two equations until absolute value is by itself. Most common mistake I'm seeing on homework, as I finally get up to date on those, we're trying to set it equal to +1 and a -1. You cannot set up two equations until you've completed steps 1 and 2. Step 1, get absolute value by itself. Step 2, is it possible? Step 3, the third step, is to set up those two equations. It is not the first step. Do not do it first. You got to use it as your third step. Steps go in order. So we're going to undo subtraction with addition. A equals 16. Undo subtraction with addition. A equals -4. You can see that you'd get very different answers if we try to set up the two equations from the get-go. Last one here. Step 1. You guessed it. Get absolute value by itself. So we're going to get rid of this -6 by adding 8 to both sides of the equation. Do not try and add 8 over here. You've got to do it to both sides of the equation. So you've got absolute value of 6n plus 9 equals 27. Step 1, complete. Get absolute value by itself. Step 2, is it possible? We've got a positive number on the right side and we're good to go there. Step 3, two equations. 6n plus 9 equals 27. 6n plus 9 equals -27, okay? That second equation, you're making it negative on the right side. Undo addition with subtraction. 6n equals, what is that, 18? Divide by 6. N equals 3. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 9 is 27. Minus 8 gives us the 19, so n equals 3 is a good solution. Over here, you got -9 on both sides. 6n equals -36. Divide by 6 on both sides. And n equals -6. -36 plus 9, -27. Absolute value of that is 27. 27 minus 8 gives us the 19. So we got another good equation there. End of video number 2.